every story appears ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is a story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Hello and welcome to CoreTV Primetime News. I am Olajumoke Olatunji. In our major story, President Muhammadu Buhari inaugurates Economic Council, charges all revenue collecting agencies to comply with the Constitution in their remittances. Also in this program, activists back President Muhammadu Buhari on dissolutions of the board of the NNPC. Inspector General of Police Solomon Arase charges police public relations officer to be proactive on issue in their domain. And outside Nigeria, Egypt's chief prosecutor assassinated in a bomb attack in Cairo. Many thanks for joining us again this night. President Muhammadu Buhari has ordered the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation Central Bank, the Nigerian Customs and other revenue-generating agencies to remit all their intakes into the Consolidated Revenue Fund in line with Constitution provisions. This, it says, is to ensure adequate funds to all tiers of government from the Federation accounts. The President gave this directive at the formal inauguration of the National Economic Council in Abuja. Per Samuel has more from the presidential villa.
National Petroleum Corporation, Nigerian Customs Services, Federal Inland Revenue Services, Nigerian Ports Authority, Central Bank of Nigeria, Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, and Liquefied Natural Gas, among others, shall comply with stipulated financial regulations and administrative instructions in their remittances into the Consolidated Revenue Fund. As far as is possible, there should be distance between politics and developmental programs. On its part, the federal government will abide by the provisions of Sections 80 and 162 of the Constitution and ensure more accountability, transparency, and integrity in the distribution of Federation account.
President Muhammadu Buhari has promised that his administration will give the highest possible priority to the rapid improvement of power supply across the country. According to a statement by Special Advisor on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, the president spoke while granting audience to officials of CGGC, the Chinese construction company working at the Nambila Power Project. Adesina quoted the president as saying that it was regrettable the power generation in Nigeria has failed to keep pace with national needs over the years. To salvage the situation, the president said his administration would ensure that the Nambiland project and other unfinished hydropower projects of the country are completed as fast as possible to boost power supply in the country. The managing director of CGGC, Zhang Heng, who led his company's delegation, told the president that work on the Nambila project was being delayed by the failure of previous administrations to provide counterpart funding specified in the agreement with the Chinese government. The CGGC delegation was accompanied to the presidential villa by Governor Abdulaziz Yari of Zamfara State. President Muhammadu Buhari has restored the accreditation of Dushe Well State House correspondent to Bali Musa, which was withdrawn on the last days of the Jonathan administration. Presidential spokesman Femi Adesina presented the reissued press pass to the correspondents at the presidential villa on the orders of the president. He explained that the reporter's reaccreditation as a State House correspondent was in keeping with President Buhari's commitment to correcting the wrongs of the past. Civil rights activists have hailed the federal government's decision to dissolve the board of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation. They also urged President Buhari to appoint a minister for petroleum resources as soon as possible, as well as name ministers as members of the NNPC board. The Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center, CISLAC, said at the news conference in Abuja that the decision to dissolve the NNPC board was long overdue. The group claimed that the dissolved board monumental frauds includes fuel subsidy scam, non-remittance of monies due to the Federation account, and controversial crude oil swap contracts. CISLAC also alleged NNPC and its subsidiary DPR were the major brick walls in the implementation of the NATO process in Nigeria, especially on matters of remediation and implementation of recommendation of independent auditors. It consequently wants President Buhari to restructure and overhaul the NNPC, as well as the entire extractive resources and revenue managing architecture of the nation. A civil rights group, Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center, wants the Buhari administration to immediately implement the cost-cutting measures proposed by a committee headed by former head of service Steve Oronsaye. This, according to the group, is as a result of the need to reduce the cost of governance. Speaking at the one-day police dialogue session in Abuja, the executive director of the group, Alwa Musa, argued that no nation can develop in an atmosphere of extra budgetary spending.
We noticed that Nigerian government reduced the cost of running, government, because we noticed that some of the costs associated with running of government are either waste or duplication, or sometimes outrightly being stolen, by some, people who don't have the interests of this country. So instead of continuing to waste and duplicate and also steal these resources, it could be channeled to other economic sectors so that we could actually help to create jobs and diversify the economy.
The problem is that we need to look at the cost of governance in the context of making government and governance more effective. So we should be looking at effectiveness. We should be looking at efficiency when we are talking about the cost of governance, and then we should be. What do you really mean by the cost of governance? Is the cost of running the government and delivering services that the government needs to deliver.
Governor Nasir El-Rufai of Kaduna State on Monday appointed the co-founder of Bring Back Our Girls Schools, Hadiza Bala Usman, as his new chief of staff. A statement by his media aide, Samuel Aruwan, also indicated that the governor had appointed two other aides to assist in the running of the new administration. Bala Usman, a development expert, had served under various committees of the All Progressives Congress at the national and state levels and was an active member in the campaign to rescue the Chibok girls adopted by Boko Haram. The new chief of staff had in 2011 contested for the House of Representatives under the defunct Congress for Progressive Change in Muzawa Mutazu constituency, Katsina State. She had also worked with the Bureau for Public Enterprises and UNDP and is a director, Good Governance Group. Other appointees were Bashir Dabo, Special Assistant, New Media, and Aminu Saidi Muhammad, Personal Secretary to the Governor. We will be back after this break with more stories. Stay with us.
Every day, every hour, and every minute, news break in Nigeria. Things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on Digit 360. 2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world again?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down, explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories and use them to make the right decisions.
for just joining us. It's a CoreTV Primetime News and a quick reminder of a major story. President Muhammadu Buhari inaugurates Economic Council, charges all revenue collecting agencies to comply with the Constitution in their remittances. Activists back President Muhammadu Buhari on dissolution of the board of the NNPC. And the Inspector General of Police, Solomon Arase, charges Police Public Relations Officer to be proactive on the issue in their domain. For more news and other programs, please visit our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/CoreTV News. You can follow us on Twitter at CoreTV News NG. For our YouTube channel, youtube.com/CoreTV, leave space, the news. Senators charged with the responsibility of coming up with a draft legislative agenda for the 8th Senate are due to return in their report in the next 1 week. Senate leader Alain Dume disclosed this to journalists after the second meeting of the ad hoc committee at the National Complex. The 18-member committee was inaugurated last week by Senate President Bukola Saraki.
The activities of this ad hoc committee that was set up last week by the Senate President to draw up a legislative agenda for the 8th Senate. This is the second meeting. We had an inaugural meeting on the same day that we were inaugurated. And as you are aware, we have just 1 week to complete this assignment, and that is why we decided to hit the ground running immediately.
The Inspector General of Police, Solomon Arase, has warned the rank and file to be proactive in dealing with issues in their domain rather than being reactive. This explained will go a long way in ensuring the police personnel are more relevant in their areas of operations. The Inspector General said this at a 2-day workshop in Abuja for public relations officers across the country.
There is a social content to policing, and I will expect that as public relations officer, maybe once a month, you should be able to reach out to the journalists in your location, invite them to the mess, discuss with them, tell them what your state or your zone is doing. It will not cost too much. I'm sure the commissioners of police should be able to handle that. And that social content of policing must be reestablished in Nigerian police force. It is not necessary to start writing rejoinders all the time. Once you are proactive, once you know what you are supposed to do, once you are able to articulate the views of the force management and your command, all those issues of constant, trying to explain, your action or inaction may not be necessary. So you must be able to connect with the community. There is no police force in the world that can perform or carry out its mandate without connecting with the community.
A federal high court in Lagos has further adjourned to July 7, 8, 9, and 10, 2015 the trial of 14 foreigners arraigned for allegedly dealing in petroleum products within the Nigerian territorial waters without lawful authority. The accused persons include citizens of Russia, Ukraine, Japan, and the United Kingdom. The trial, which has been slated to continue on Monday, could not proceed as the trial judge, Ibrahim Buba, said the court could not accommodate a trial for Monday. He subsequently adjourned to July 7, 8, 9, and 10 for continuation of trial. The 14 foreigners are being tried by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, which arraigned them on 4 counts of conspiracy and illegal deal in petroleum products. Counsel for the Anti-Graft Agency, Rotimi Oyedepo, had on June 10 told the court that the accused persons were arrested along with the vessels, MT and Nokpet Ahmed, from which they carried out the alleged unlawful business. According to the charge filed against them, the accused persons at March 27, 2015 allegedly dealt in petroleum products estimated at 1.7 metric tons without proper license. They were also accused of dealing in 1,500 metric tons of automated gas oil and 3,035 metric tons of low profile oil without lawful authority. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission arraigned Yao Gita, Sheibu Yakubu, Jibril M. Tahir and Jamil Ventures Nigeria Limited before an Abuja High Court Gudu on a 10-count charge of obtaining money under false pretense, conspiracy and forgery to the tune of 192 million naira. Getal, a former chief of staff to the FCT minister and member of the Land Allocation Committee of the Federal Capital Territory Administration, allegedly conspired with Sheibu Yakubu, a former special assistant to the chief of staff, and 2 others to obtain money from various people under the false pretext of processing and facilitating land allocation. The accused persons, however, pleaded not guilty when the charges were read to them. Trial Judge Justice Abubakar Taiba Bello ordered the accused to be remanded in prison custody and adjourned the case to July 2nd for ruling on their bail application. The chairman of Biocourtney Limited, Wale Babalake, has requested the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court, Justice Ibrahim Alter, to reassign a fundamental rights enforcement suit which are filed against the Attorney General of the Federation. Also joined as respondents in the suit is the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. Babalake had filed a suit before John Toho of the Lagos Division of the court, seeking an order to stop the respondent from giving effect to a proposed move to arraign him on criminal charges before the Ikeja Division of the Lagos State High Court. The charges, Soho announced his withdrawal from the case on Monday, following a petition against him by Babalake through his lawyers, Wale Akoni and Abiodun Layonu, both senior advocates of Nigeria. Babalake's grievance in the petition dated June 19, 2015 was that Soho vacated his own interim injunction of April 29, 2015, barring the respondent from proceeding with the proposed arraignment of Babalake, pending the determination of the fundamental rights enforcement suit. The applicant's lawyers claimed that the judge discharged the order without a formal application from the respondents. They therefore urged Chief Judge Alter to withdraw the case filed from Soho and to reassign it to another judge. Students of the Olabisi Onabanjo University Agoiweye in Ogun State on Monday blocked the Shagamu-Ore highway to protest the death of 11 of their colleagues. The protesting students converged at Ilishan Remo Shagamu Junction, the scene of the accident, and blocked the road, forcing motorists both from the Benin and Lagos Abeokuta ends of the highway to either turn back or stop at a distance. In a joint statement by the School Students' Union Body and the Nigerian Association of Nigerian Students, the protesting students demanded that security agencies should find and arrest the driver of the truck, who they claim is still at large. They also called on government to bring into effect the law prohibiting articulated trucks from plying the highway during the day, while asking for families of the victims to be compensated. You may recall that 12 students of Olabisi Onabanjo University died when a truck driver drove on the wrong lane, causing the container to fall on the bus conveying the students to Ota, Ogun State, around midday on Friday. You're still watching CoreTV Primetime News. We'll take another quick break and we'll be back on more stories. Please don't go away.
This is what the people are saying.
You don't run a big economy with generator. They need to do more in terms of energy and power.
Many things to do for this Nigeria about lights, water, and new TT.
For Nigerians that are not gullible, we know that good laws have done nothing good for this country.
Buhari won the election convincingly.
Talk to her husband that you should keep promise about what you said, and because people are watching you, you know, another election is coming.
Also, some people will strong for Yoruba land, will be strong man. You don't die.
This nation is moving forward. The best is going to take place.
The people giving voice to the voiceless.
And outside Nigeria, Egypt's public prosecutor, Hisman Barakat, has been killed in a bomb attack on his car in Cairo, officials say. Barakat died of his wounds in hospital after the bombing in the South Harbour Valley Poses. He had died after undergoing critical surgery. A medical official at the hospital said Barakat had received multiple shrapnel wounds to the shoulder, chest, and liver. Barakat was the most senior figure to have been targeted for assassination since the 2013 attempt on the life of the then Interior Minister. He had referred thousands of Islamists to trial since the overthrow of President Mohammed Morsi in 2013. Hundreds of Islamists have been sentenced to death or life imprisonment as part of a crackdown on supporters of the banned Muslim Brotherhood. Monday's attack involved a car bomb or an explosive device placed under a parked car near Barakat's convoy. At least 3 civilians were killed. According to MENA, witnesses said that the blast had been strong enough to shatter the windows of nearby homes. The Egyptian affiliate of the Islamic State militant group recently called for attacks on the judiciary after the hanging of 6 militants. A heat wave in Spain and Portugal has triggered alerts across the region, with temperatures soaring above 40 Celsius and warning of risk to residents' health. Warnings have been issued in more than 40 provinces in Spain, with a red alert for the southern city of Cordoba. Neighboring Portugal has also placed 4 regions in an orange alert, the second highest level possible. Both countries have warned that the searing heat will substantially increase the risk of forest fires. They warned that exceptional temperatures pose a very high level of risk for the population. The Spanish cities of Cordoba, Seville, and Toledo were some of the worst affected on Monday. Temperatures were expected to reach up to 44 Celsius in some areas. The heat wave is expected to spread, prompting concern in France and in the UK. And in the world of business, stock markets in Europe and Asia have been seeing big falls after Greece closed its banks and imposed capital controls. The moves by the Greek authorities came after the European Central Bank decided not to extend emergency funding. London's FTSE 100 index fell nearly 2 in early trade. Earlier in Asia, Japan's Nikkei index fell nearly 3 on the currency markets. The euro had fallen to 1.0 at one point in Asian trading from 1.1 on Friday, but it then recovered some ground. Elsewhere in Europe, Germany's DAX share index and France's CAC 40 were both down more than 3. The Athens Stock Exchange and Greek banks are closed all week. Greece is due to make a 1.6 billion payment to the IMF on Tuesday, the same day that its current bailout expires. Last week, talks between Greece and the Eurozone's country over bailout terms ended without an agreement, and Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras then called for a referendum on the issue to be held on 5th of July. At the weekend, the Greek government confirmed the banks would be closed all week and imposed capital controls, limiting bank withdrawals to 60 a day. Greece's temporary bank closure is sending investors' money into other European markets, which experts say will continue in the short term, as investors worry about a potential massive default in the country. Former Zambian President Rupaya Banda was acquitted on Monday after a court case in which he was alleged to have personally benefited from a $2.5 million oil deal with Nigeria. At a trial that began in early 2013, Banda was charged with abusing his authority in awarding the Nigerian contract. The 78-year-old, who led the Southern African nation from 2008 to 2011, faced a maximum of 5 years in prison if convicted. Kenneth Konga, who was energy minister under Banda, told the court that he had traveled to Nigeria to secure the oil deal when Zambia was in desperate need of fuel, and that the president has not made any profits. Banda's successor, Marcus Sata, cracked down on what he said was corruption within the previous administration. But critics accused Sata of prosecuting opponents. Sata died in 2014 and was succeeded by current leader Ege Longo. Nigeria and other African countries cannot continue to depend on farmers in Europe and Asia to feed their populace, as 60% of Africa's populace is in agriculture. This is according to Ndidi Nwuneli. Nwuneli, co-founder of AACC Foods, told CNBC Africa that there were tremendous opportunities that exist in the agriculture value chain, from production, processing, packaging, and logistics. According to Nwuneli, the first intervention when organizations want to improve agriculture in the continent is to build trust with the farmers and ensure they know you have their best interest at heart. Commenting on Nigeria, Nwuneli added agriculture is very fragmented in Nigeria, and to raise the level of production, her organization is partnered with UNDP, among others. The National Industrial Court of Nigeria has reversed the suspension of Roland Igbinoba, Managing Director, FHA Homes Limited. Justice Mario Wase, who made the order, also restrained the respondent from enforcing a suspension letter given to the applicant. He has filed a notice of consequence of disobedience of court order dated June 24. The notice warned Mohammed Al-Amin, Managing Director, CEO, Federal Housing Authority, of the consequences of disobeying the order. Also warned in the notice the Abdu Awatiko, Acting Managing Director, FHA Homes Limited. The court had granted an order of interim injunction restraining the respondents, including FHA Homes and Al-Amin, their directors or agents, from implementing a letter dated June 2, 2015, written by Al-Amin to the applicant purportedly suspending Igbinoba from office. The court made an order directing FHA and Al-Amin to reverse all the steps taken by them based on the suspension letter. The orders were made following a affidavit of urgency filed on Igbinoba's behalf by his lawyer, Okafo. The orders are to assist pending the hearing and determination of the applicant's motion on notice. Igbinoba, a tested mortgage banking professional, was headhunted from his Lagos-based home to come and turn around the fortunes of the mortgage finance institution in 2013. He was ordered to proceed in suspension so that several allegations raised against him could be investigated. He also denied the allegations and filed the instant suit, which has been adjourned for hearing to July 16. Leaders of Guinea, Liberia, and Sierra Leone on Monday adopted priority projects and determined the cost to the Regional Economic Recovery Program. River Mano Union comprised Guinea, Liberia, Sierra Leone, and Cote d'Ivoire. In a joint statement issued after the extraordinary meeting, the leaders of the four countries agreed to submit various funding proposals to financial donors. The first proposal of the regional program, which is expected to cost $1.8 billion, would focus on areas of health, water, sanitation and hygiene, peace, agriculture, food security, and strengthening of the private sector. The second proposal, estimated to cost $2.24 billion, would target infrastructures such as roads, energy, as well as information and communication technologies program. The four countries reiterated their appeal for the setting up of a consolidated special fund for River Mano Union's post-Ebola recovery program. They appealed for debt relief from the international community, as well as direct budgetary support to countries affected by Ebola. Meanwhile, a report says as of June 14, 2015, the World Health Organization had recorded over 27,000 Ebola cases, among them over 11,000 deaths in the sub-regional countries affected by Ebola crisis. In the world of sports, Chile faced Peru in the Copa America semifinals on Monday in one of the fastest rivalries in South American football, fought by politics, border disputes and the 19th century war. The traditional animosity between the two Indian neighbors dates from the War of the Pacific in the 1880s, but Chile fought against the combined forces of Peru and Bolivia. The Chileans won it and annexed the swathe of Peruvian land, which they have held ever since. Leon has agreed a deal to sign forward Claudio Bavio from Gyeong Camp on a 4-year contract, the League One club announced on Saturday. A Leon statement said that the winger, who can also play as striker, would join on the deal through to June 2019, provided he passes the medical at the start of next week. The 27-year-old Bavio, who had been closely watched by clubs in the English Premier League, was also wanted by Marseille and had been offered a lucrative contract by Qatar side El Josh. The Ecuador native was persuaded to move to Lyon, who will be back in the Champions League next season after finishing second in League One because of the prospect of playing alongside Alexandre Lacazette in attack. Aston Villa boss Tim Sherwood has brought in former England midfielder Ray Wilkins as his assistant. The 58-year-old Londoner, who has had a succession of jobs in football, both in coaching and in the media, since his playing career ended in 1997. Started last season as coach of Jordan. He has also managed one of his former sides, Queen Park's Rangers, where he has never previously worked with the 48-year-old Sherwood, who replaced Paul Lambert at Villa Park in February. Italy international midfielder Andrea Bertolacci said he can't wait to be part of AC Milan's important project after officially joining the fallen Serie A giant from Roma on Monday. Bertolacci, considered one of the brightest talents of his generation, became the Rossoneri's first major signing of the summer when he joined the club on a 4-year deal worth a reported 20 million. AC Milan communicate that Andrea Bertolacci has been officially signed from as Roma. The midfielder has signed a contract until 30th of June 2019, said a club statement. Peter said Cech has agreed to join Arsenal from Chelsea on a long-term contract for an undisclosed fee. The 33-year-old goalkeeper made over 400 appearances during 11 years at Stamford Bridge, winning multiple club and personal honors. He also won the Premier League Golden Glove Award on 3 occasions. A 7-time Czech Footballer of the Year, Cech made this international debut in 2002. He currently has 114 caps for his country, 4 short of countryman Karel Pereski's all-time record. Defending champion Novak Djokovic began his Wimbledon title defense with a straight set wins over Germany Philipp Skraber. The Serbian top seed won 6-4, 6-4, 6-4 in the opening match on center court and goes on to face Hewitt or Jacko Niemann in round 2. Djokovic, 28, was playing his first competitive match since losing to Stan Wawrinka in the French Open final. He made 20 on 4 errors but broke serve to win each of the 3 sets. World number 1 Serena Williams overcame a minor blip against debutant Margarita Gassevet to progress to the second round of Wimbledon with ease. 5-time champion Williams, 33, was broken in the first game of the match, but came through to win 6-4, 6-1. Williams, the reigning Australian and French Open champion, was not at her best. Forced to say 6 break points, but ultimately had too much noise. She did good. She should be really proud, said Williams of Gaspayan, 20. Well, that's the wrap on CoreTV Primetime News. Many thanks for watching. I am Olajumoke Olatide. Have a good night rest.